met Ed Van Zyl, was the head of is the head of Mascot Records in 2005 on tour with Purple through Steve Morse, who was one of his solo artists, and he said he was getting fed up with guitarists. So I said, well, why don't you get a nice keyboard player like me to make you an album? So that's how we did the deal. Once I'd signed it, what to do? I remembered some tunes I'd written with Colosseum 2 that were demoed after Gary Moore left the band, but never saw the light of day. One of which was A Light in the Sky. And all the track doesn't survive, but all I can remember is the first line, which was, I looked to the heavens and saw a light in the sky. And that's something I do a lot because I own quite a very good telescope. And I started thinking about all the wonderful things I've seen in my back garden. You know, not only the moon, which is one of the most wonderful things in Saturn, but galaxies such as Andromeda, the Sombrero Galaxy, the Cartwheel Galaxy, Jupiter, the wonderful entertainment you can have just looking through the lens of one of these things. Shall we move over? Just very slowly, follow me here. Here we are. We have a Celestron Nexstar 130 SLT, electronically guided telescope. It's one of my pride and joys, and it's as much fun as you can have with your clothes on, if you get it right. Anyway, there it is, my baby. So I got in touch with you know, some of the best musicians with Primal Scream, Rob Harris from Jamiroquai, and we went up to Chapel Studios in Lincolnshire. The guys hadn't heard the tunes, and I said to them, well, I've only ever played them once, and I handed out the dots, you know, and we just set off. And the album's pretty much played live. The Hammond was, all the Hammond solos are live, all the guitar solos are live. We just played it. We had a great time doing it. It was quite pressured, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, some of the tunes are quite difficult. You know, A Light in the Sky has this sequence in the middle, you know. You know, there's some very tricky bits. There's another piece called Big Crunch, which was another Colosseum 2 riff, you know. Kind of thing. So it was tricky music, but I think we got the essence of it down on the record, on the A Light in the Sky album. Once the album came out, it did pretty well, you know, for what it was, but Ed Van Zyl said, you really need a tour. So he booked a club tour. Now, I haven't done a club tour since I was in Colosseum 2, really, which was in the 70s. And I was a bit apprehensive, but I needn't have been. We packed all the gear into a big trailer. We attached a trailer to a tour bus, and we set off from here in my home. We played, the first gig was in the Camden, the Underworld in Camden. God, I've never known a club that was so well named. You go down some steep stairs, and getting the Hammond down that was quite a feat. And having got through that gig, we loaded the gear in the trailer, climbed on the tour bus, set off across the channel, you know, for Switzerland. From Switzerland, after a wonderful gig at the Z7 in Proteln, near Basel, we went to Innsbruck and played at a very good club there called the Tribe House. Then 3 gigs in Germany, which went very well indeed. Probably the best of them was at a 250 capacity club near Stuttgart in Leonberg called the Eulenspiegel. And I haven't played a gig like that since, you know, the Marquee in the 70s, which we used to call the best sauna, the best sauna in Wardour Street. And that's what it was like, you know, we absolutely sweated buckets. And the crowd went great. It was just one of those great gigs that I think Carl Sentence said when he came off, he said, I'll remember this night till the day I die. You know, it was just one of those great nights. And we ended up with 2 gigs in Holland and 1 in Verviers. Attendances weren't always great, but the people who came stayed till the end. And, you know, Rob Harris said to me, this is, you know, Rob plays the big stadium circuit with Jamiroquai, but he said to me, you know, in a way, this is where it's really at. Playing you can see the whites of the audience's eyes, and there's no hiding. You know, you've got no excuses. You just got to play your ass off, and that's by and large what the band did. And when we got home, you know, we got home and everybody got off, and there was a great feeling of sadness that we'd all been part of something quite extraordinary, and that's how I felt. So I'm looking forward to doing another. You know, playing this kind of music live. I think it's different to what I do with Deep Purple, and you know, for Rob Harris, he said it's so different to what he does with Jamiroquai that it really brought him back to life again. So, you know, we had some fun. It was just great. The people who saw it, I hope you enjoyed it. For the people who didn't, we've got some footage to show you, and you can also sample the delights of the album, which is now available direct from this website. Right, well, I thought, seeing as I'm here, I'd play you a piece from the album. I'm going to play you a piano piece. It's called Sombrero M104. Now, M104 is the designation by a French astronomer called Messier, who charted the heavens long ago, 1784. And he just charted all the celestial objects he could see and gave them names. And he charted the Sombrero Galaxy, which looks like a sombrero. It's because there's a huge black hole in the middle of it, so it bulges with light and there's rings of dust around it. It's one of the most extraordinary sights you can train your telescope on. It's in 5/4 time, so there's a left-hand riff that goes. So that's how it goes, and then the tune goes over the top. But it's kind of a rock and roll piece, but a bit abstruse. And it really just tries to sum up, you know, the excitement you feel when you see something like that. Here we go, Sombrero.